speak about the mentality of a footballer quite a lot in the book because I believe in it. You know, there's so many people with talent out there, but the ones that reach the top are the ones that have got a supreme mental strength and a determination, a work ethic, and all these attributes you need to get to the top in any level. I guess it's the same in your line of work.
Yeah, it is the same. And when you sat down with a client, it's all right being able to do a presentation of investment when I'm in a training room, but actually to be able to do it in front of a CEO of a company, some people just freeze. They just can't get the words out even when they're in that pressured environment. I guess the same.
Exactly, as you're saying it, I'm totally relating it. Throughout my career, I've trained with so many great players, and I make the point trained with, because a lot of people can't take that onto the big stage. They can't convert it. And on the flip side, you train with somebody that you think he's all right, but then you get into a big game, you want him on your team, and consistently want him on your team. We call it big game players, and you get those in football as you must do, as you're referring to in business as well.
Sometimes those big game players are players that almost get to an edge. You didn't get the same way, so let me go Roy Keane, Didier Drogba. Sorry, Chelsea fan. But he would almost get himself sent off. He would go such an edge in the big games. Yeah, he'd either score the winner or he'd see a red card.
Yeah, and everyone's got different attributes. Everyone's got a different mentality. I mean, in my world, it's going the other way. I mean, you're talking about people that are probably getting hotter. Yeah, I've got to get colder. When I'm bearing down on goals.
Yeah.
I mean,
good point.
Everybody, the whole fact that you imagine that
calm.
Everybody's going, is he gonna, and everybody's getting more excited. Everyone's getting hotter. Everyone's pulse is racing. What I've got to do is actually go the other way, which is very rare. It's very rare. Yeah.
There's a bit in the book where you speak about when you were playing in Italy.
Spain.
No. When you were playing in Italy.
Oh right.
In an away game, and it's about Emil Heskey and how he kind of protected you as a striker.
Yeah.
And that's right at the start of your youth career, and it talks about how you got in a bit of a scrap in the game. Was that something that went away as you kind of progressed?
That's a really interesting point. I was always, despite your exterior, I was really on edge, close to, going over the edge. And you speak about Keane, you speak about someone like Suarez that can't, and it comes out in a bite twice. He bit the players twice. I mean, that, while I can't condone it, I can see how people, because we push ourselves right to the edge, and it feels like life or death when you're playing, and you've got to get the edge over the players that you're playing against, and the stakes are so high. So I had to really, at the start of my career, I got sent off being captain for England under-18s. I should have got sent off playing for England in the game that you're referring to, that Emil thankfully bailed me out from getting beaten up. I then came onto the scene and I got sent off at Old Trafford. So everybody saw this smiling, angelic chap, but beneath was a real fiery character that took 2 or 3.
And did that just happen though? Right? So when I'm going to, let's say I'm really pushing for a particular period in the company, I actually say I'm in the war zone, right? So when I go to the war zone, then I'm pushing that extra bit. I almost build up the importance of every day. I actually think from a business point of view, if you were going to war, who would you take with you? Right? So I've got the best people around me in the company, but I actually have to build myself into it. You're almost being put in that zone by the game and then reducing it. Is that right?
You're having to reduce it, but I found after a while that I had almost reduced it so much that I was losing my edge, and I felt so bad about getting sent off, letting my team down, and all these things, that I thought, right, stop, being so wired before the game, stop getting so pent up and angry and all the rest of it.
How did you get to that point?
And I just found myself almost, when I wasn't flying into tackles, when I wasn't wanting in the nicest words, kill people, I was wanting everything, goals, blood, everything, and I almost, you have to find a real balance. I think when you watch people, and I mentioned Rooney and Suarez, you can tell they're just so close to the edge all the time, and so close to going over.
Yeah.
But the key is to stay this side on the edge. If you drop and you're not that bothered, you're not that, then your performance will go. If you go over the top, you will cost your team, you'll get sent off. So the key is to try to get right at the top without flipping over.
So I call that relaxed aggression. So I've got that little bit of aggression, but I'm still relaxed. I can't be too... and if I say those words in my mind, actually puts me in the right stand, relaxed aggression.
And the best thing is everyone's different. You know, you'll get people that appear aggressive on the football pitch. You'll get people that look so mellow, but actually they're right at the top end of where they should be. So we're all different, and I think it's understanding yourself is what we're talking about. Understanding what levels you need to go to get maximum performance.
Yeah, and most people don't get to the point where they understand how to motivate themselves and how to control themselves in any walk of life.
In any walk of life, and obviously I was a fortunate person to actually be able to find that out at the very top level, because of course, you know, the man or woman next door will probably never be put in a situation whereby there's millions of orders, you know, the pressure is so intense. So, and then you find out a lot about yourself as well, and whether you can be that big game player.
Yeah, maybe you don't find out truly about yourself until you have hard times or that type of pressure.
Yeah, and both ways. You know, both ways, being the absolute adulation of being at the top, and then the worst of the worst when you think, you know, your world has caved in and the pressure is on, and now you've got a horrific injury and you're out for a year or whatever it might be. Dealing with those highs and lows is, put it this way, I'm glad my career was only 15 years and not 60. Yeah.
But business is the same in so many different ways. So, you know, I think it affects all walks of life. You know, even golf, right? Same thing. You've got to get in the right zone. Different zone, but you've got to get in the right zone.
Definitely. And I mean, where I sort of take my cap off to someone like yourself is that you're navigating your way through over a longer period of time. Whereas football, you have a window, it changes. Could a player 40 years ago still be a great? Could a manager 20 years ago still be a great manager now? We look at the difference in people. You know, when I first set out, people were absolutely, you know, going berserk in dressing rooms, throwing things, including punches. And now you manage people in such a different way. You can't talk to people like that anymore. So to navigate your way over a period of time is much trickier.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely changed. I mean, you can see it with Jose Mourinho, who, you know, when he was at Chelsea was a hero of mine. Yeah. And you saw at one stage everybody said he was a great manager. Did he change, or did people change? And who knows, right?
That's it.
Ultimately, you don't. But certainly in my business, we've had the same thing where the previous managers that have been in deVere, some of them didn't develop as the industry developed. And as people developed, and you actually have to treat people differently in different times. So certainly from an industry point of view, when the boom times, you could be a different type of manager than when it's the harder times. And as well, I think the younger generation growing through, I actually like them. People, you know, don't like the younger generation. So I actually quite like them. The millennials that, you know, people say, I don't want them, they're weak. I actually find them really good. They want instant and they want to get on with it. I actually quite like it. But I think you just have to adapt to the new generation and the new people and the new thinking.
Key word is, you know, to adapt. Well, as I say, I played on the loads of managers. Sir Alex Ferguson ruled a lot of the time with fear. You know, he was very, very strict. You know, and it'd be amazing now to see him now whether he could to cope with this new generation of people, because it is a different generation, and I could think of a lot of managers that are exactly the same. But the key word there is to adapt. You have to be able to do that, I think, to stay on top for a long period of time. And as I say, as a footballer, you know, only staying. Okay, I was a footballer for 15 years as a professional, but you're only really at the top for maybe 6, 7, 8 of those years.
So want to extend it? Does that not kill you?
You do, but you
just know
the physical aspects of it just don't let you do that, and that's one of the hard things as well, because the mental side can, you can last a lot longer mentally when your body and your mind are telling you different things. that can screw you up a little bit,
and that's why
that was hard.
Yeah, that must be why it's tough to stop. And lots of ex-players really suffer with it, right?
They do, yeah. And again, I touch on it in the book. The conversion, it happened towards the end of my career, and then when I retired as well. Conversion from thinking that you're the world's best to now you're not even in the top 1,000, it's a hard thing to come to terms with. And of course, it probably helped in my retirement because I was semi-retired in my brain. Since I was 28, 29, I was almost semi-retired because I didn't have that same feeling as I did when I was 22, 23. And that was purely body driven, sadly. So you're fighting with all these different elements, as a footballer, because you need him to be physically fit as well as mentally.
Yeah, you used to leave him for dead, right? And then
2 minutes later, you can't try to cope with that in your mind.
It
still frustrates me now.